Wow, look at this. It just feels totally different than a normal Explorer boat.
Yeah.
Because we did want to respect and honor the two people that did die here.
The Second World War is a treasure trove that keeps spitting mind-boggling secrets 80 years after it ended. Even the most seasoned historians don't know half of what went down during those excruciating 6 years of uncertainty. The sheer scale and pace of events during that time created countless stories and secrets that are being unearthed to this day. So hold tight as we tell you all about the 18 most incredible finds of the Second World War. Number 18. Amber Room. While amber might evoke thoughts of the Jurassic period, thanks to Jurassic Park's portrayal of dinosaur DNA, its allure has captivated Europeans for centuries, especially in Russia. The Amber Room, often called the eighth wonder of the world, is perhaps the most iconic example of this fascination. Constructed in the early 18th century, it was originally a gift to Tsar Peter to celebrate the peace between Russia and Prussia. This stunning room, made from several tons of amber, was not only a marvel of craftsmanship, but also a symbol of the enduring ties between these nations. However, the Amber Room's history would soon take a tragic turn. During World War II, the Nazis plundered the room in 1941, believing it to be a German creation meant for their royal family. As the war raged on, the precious amber panels were carefully packed away in crates, but they vanished in the chaos of the war's final months. Despite exhaustive searches, the original Amber Room has remained lost for decades, sparking intense speculation and intrigue among historians, treasure hunters, and art enthusiasts alike. Although a replica of the Amber Room was completed in 2003, the whereabouts of the original remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century. Number 17. Japan's Mega-Submarine. In 2013, an incredible find emerged from the depths of Oahu, Hawaii, the I-400, one of Japan's legendary mega-submarines from World War II. At the time of its construction, the I-400 class submarine was a marvel of engineering, the largest submarine of the war and decades ahead of its time. What set it apart was its onboard hangar, capable of housing 3 Seiren float planes, allowing it to serve as a mobile airbase beneath the waves. Completed on 30 December 1944, the I-400 was built for ambitious missions. Originally, it was destined for the Panama Canal strike, a bold plan to cripple the vital waterway by destroying its locks. However, with the fall of Okinawa, the mission was abandoned. The sub was then assigned to lead an attack on 15 American aircraft carriers stationed at Ulithi Atoll. But history took a different turn. Japan's surrender on 15 August 1945, following the devastation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, halted all operations. When the I-400 surrendered to an American destroyer, its massive size stunned American sailors. The submarine was taken to Hawaii for inspection, where its revolutionary design was studied. But in a twist of fate, the I-400 met its end on 4 June 1946, scuttled by torpedoes from the American submarine USS Trumpetfish. For nearly 7 decades, it lay forgotten on the ocean floor until its discovery reignited fascination with Japan's wartime ingenuity. Number 16. Dark Eagle of World War II. Imagine uncovering an 800-pound bronze eagle clutching a swastika, a relic steeped in the shadowy history of Germany. That's exactly what happened when Uruguay discovered this massive artifact, originally part of the German battleship Admiral Graf Spee. Yet, this isn't just a story about finding an old relic. It's about the international controversy and historical weight tied to it. The Admiral Graf Spee, a notorious warship, wreaked havoc in the South Atlantic at the onset of World War II, sinking several Allied merchant ships. But its reign ended on 13 December 1939 after being intercepted by British cruisers. Trapped and outmatched, the captain ordered the ship scuttled near Montevideo, Uruguay. Decades later, in 2006, private divers recovered the massive Eagle from the wreck, a striking and disturbing reminder of the Third Reich's reach. However, the discovery didn't bring admiration. It sparked outrage. Germany protested its public display, arguing that Nazi symbols must only appear in proper historical contexts, like museums, to avoid glorification. Uruguay's courts intervened, ruling the artifact to be sold, with proceeds going to the salvage company. Number 15. Carrier Pigeon's lost message. During the chaos of World War II, countless lives, human and animal, were risked for the Allied cause. Among them was a brave British carrier pigeon, deployed as a silent messenger to deliver critical intelligence from Nazi-occupied territory. After a grueling flight of hundreds of miles, this feathered spy sought rest atop a chimney in Surrey. Tragically, the fumes from the fire below overwhelmed the exhausted bird, and it perished with its secret mission unfulfilled. For nearly 70 years, the pigeon's remains lay hidden in the chimney, encased in debris and twigs. It wasn't until a homeowner decided to restore the fireplace that the forgotten spy was discovered. At first, the remains were dismissed as those of a racing pigeon. But when the homeowner noticed a red capsule tied to the bird's leg, everything changed. Inside the capsule was a tiny, cigarette-thin piece of paper bearing a handwritten, coded message. The message was sent to Bletchley Park, the legendary wartime code-breaking hub where operatives had famously cracked the Nazi Enigma code. Experts believe the capsule was used by the Special Operations Executive, whose agents specialized in sabotage missions behind enemy lines. Pigeons like this one served as vital couriers, often flying at incredible speeds while evading enemy fire to deliver information that could shift the tide of war. This humble bird represents the unsung heroes of history. Number 14. Silver Treasure Shipwreck. One of the most amazing World War II discoveries is located 3 miles under the Atlantic Ocean, near the coast of Ireland. Here, over 1,000 silver bars, totaling 1.4 million troy ounces, were recovered from the wreckage of the SS Gersapa. This find is the heaviest, deepest recovery of precious metals from a sunken vessel. The SS Gersapa was a 400-foot steel-hulled cargo ship. It met a tragic end in February 1941. While sailing near Galway, Ireland, a German U-boat torpedoed the vessel. It and its valuable cargo sank to the ocean floor. The ship was carrying 83 crew members, including 2 gunners. In a desperate attempt to escape the attack, the crew abandoned the ship as it was engulfed in flames. Tragically, only 1 sailor survived to recount the ordeal. At its sinking, the SS Gersapa was under a war risk insurance policy from the British government. The government compensated the ship's owners with a significant sum in 1941. Decades later, a specialized salvage company, Odyssey Marine Exploration, was contracted to locate and recover the wreck. The team succeeded in retrieving the silver bars and retaining 20% of their modern value. Number 13. Panther Tank. In June 2015, a Kiel prosecutor authorized a police raid on a villa in Heikendorf, Germany, due to suspicions of war relics. In Germany, it is illegal to possess such items, especially weapons. It carries legal consequences. The raiding team was shocked to find a World War II Panther tank in the villa's underground garage. It was fully intact. It was alongside a cache of other Nazi-era weapons. However, rumors about his peculiar collection had circulated for decades. In particular, reports from 1978 suggested that the man had been seen driving a World War II-era tank through the town. This raised questions about its legality and storage. Authorities had long harbored suspicions, but the discovery exceeded their expectations. The Panther tank was one of the most advanced armored vehicles of its time. It was found in remarkably good condition. Following the raid, the tank and the other relics were confiscated by the German Federal Police. Number 12. Hiroshima Watch. The Hiroshima Watch, frozen at 8:15 a.m., has a profound legacy. It is both a symbol and a haunting reminder of the Hiroshima bombing. On 6th August 1945, the world witnessed a tragedy that reshaped history. By the year's end, an estimated 140,000 lives were lost. Countless others suffered long-term physical and emotional scars. Amidst the destruction, a single watch was discovered. Its hands stopped at the precise moment the bomb exploded. This poignant artifact, with its melted surface and immobile hands, has captivated millions. It is a tangible reminder of the catastrophic event. The watch captures a sudden break from normal life. It freezes the moment when Hiroshima's landscape and many lives changed forever. A British soldier reportedly retrieved the watch. He had come on a humanitarian mission to aid survivors of the bomb's aftermath. Later, it was auctioned with other historical items. The watch offered a stark, visceral link to the horrors of that day. Number 11. The Ghost Army. We think of wartime heroism as soldiers with heavy weapons in fierce battles. But, in World War II, the most impactful warriors weren't always those with the biggest guns. Sometimes, they were the ones with the sharpest minds. This is where the Ghost Army came. It was an American Army tactical deception unit. It used clever illusions, not brute force, to play a pivotal role in the war. The Ghost Army was not your typical battalion. It had 1,000 American artists, designers, and sound engineers. Their artillery was for show. Their tanks were immobile. Their skills were more in creative fields than in combat. With an average IQ of 130, these men were smart. With a flair for illusion, they crafted deceptions that dazzled Nazi Germany. Their ruses misled Hitler's forces about the Allies' movements and might. Cloaked in shadow, they operated a mere 4 miles from the front lines. This Ghost Army executed ingenious strategies that blurred the lines of reality. They inflated rubber tanks, trucks, and jeeps, artfully painted to fool the eye. From the aircraft above, these fakes appeared astonishingly lifelike, a true masterpiece of misdirection. Fake radio transmissions flowed like a river, imitating operators' unique styles to perfection. Meanwhile, sound engineers transformed airwaves into art, playing pre-recorded military sounds from giant speakers. This audacious symphony simulated a force 30 times their size. Their cunning efforts remained classified for over 50 years, a hidden tale of audacity. It wasn't until 1996 that their secrets finally emerged from the shadows. The Ghost Army's ingenious deceptions didn't just trick the enemy, they altered the course of the war. They demonstrated that sometimes the most powerful weapons in battle are conjured from imagination, not metal. Number 10. Auschwitz Blueprints. Hidden away for decades, in the quiet shadows of a Berlin apartment, lay a chilling piece of history waiting to resurface. Blueprints. But not just any blueprints. These were the plans for the expansion of Auschwitz, the Nazi death camp synonymous with the Holocaust. Imagine finding yellowed, fragile pages. They have the word Gaskammer, gas chamber, scribbled in a cold, precise hand. That's exactly what happened when they found blueprints in a Berlin flat. They revealed the horrors that once unfolded, calculated to the last detail. The documents from October 1941 detail a delousing facility. It had gas chambers, a crematorium, and a corpse cellar, or Leichenkeller. Even a drawing of Auschwitz's infamous main gate was among the findings. It's impossible to ignore the inhumanity written on these pages. And these weren't just plans. They were evidence, proof of how the Nazis systematically orchestrated genocide long before the Wannsee Conference in 1942, where the final solution was finalized. Historians now have a terrifyingly early glimpse into the deliberate machinery of death. These blueprints, as Bild newspaper reports, are more than just relics. They're a haunting reminder of how precision and planning can be used for unimaginable evil. Number 9. Operation Magic Carpet. The USS Independence was pivotal in Operation Magic Carpet. This mission aimed to reunite American veterans with their loved ones after the Pacific War. Decommissioned in August 1946, she was transformed into a test subject for atomic bomb trials at Bikini Atoll in the Marshall Islands. On July 1st and 25th of 1946, the brave carrier stood just half a mile from the epicenter of destruction. The explosions unleashed shockwaves, searing heat and radiation, yet, astonishingly, the ship weathered the storm, remaining afloat. Afterward, the Navy towed her battered hull back to San Francisco for a much-needed checkup. In 1951, the USS Independence took her final plunge, deliberately sunk off the coast of San Francisco. For decades, her resting place was a tantalizing enigma. In 2016, scientists from Nautilus Live embarked on an underwater expedition. Using remotely operated vehicles, they dove deep, uncovering the vessel's remains. Miraculously, after 73 years beneath 2,600 feet of water, the Independence was still largely intact. Number 8. Discovery of a lost attack plane. In a remarkable turn of events, the wreckage of a Soviet attack plane that disappeared during a World War II bombing mission was recovered from the Black Sea, 75 years after its fateful flight. A Soviet PE-2 aircraft took off from southern Russia. It was to strike Nazi Germany, but vanished, its fate a mystery. In 2019, researchers studying the Black Sea seabed found the wreckage of the long-lost plane. The Russian Navy's research vessel Ypron was soon deployed to clear debris from the crash site. The PE-2 aircraft was successfully raised from the seabed near the Krasnodar coast. The discovery excited many. The iconic red star emblem on the aircraft was remarkably intact. Experts launched a thorough investigation, uncovering key details of the plane's history. Afterward, it was put on display at a Russian war museum, where it serves as a reminder of the sacrifices made during the war. Number 7. The Enigma machine. The Enigma machine was an advanced encryption device. The Germans used it in World War II to send coded messages that were nearly impossible to decode. The machine could generate billions of configurations. It made German messages unbreakable for much of the war. The Allies struggled for a long time to crack the codes. They needed to gain intelligence from intercepted communications. However, Alan Turing and a team of top cryptographers found flaws in the implementation of Enigma. They gained access to German codebooks. They used them to develop the bomb machine. It was key to breaking the Enigma's most complex codes. The bomb could quickly decipher encrypted messages. This gave the Allies a big advantage. Historians argue that breaking the Enigma code was a key Allied victory in the war. To keep secrets and avoid raising Nazi suspicions, the Allies sometimes allowed certain attacks to occur. They knew the enemy's plans but wanted to protect their code-breaking efforts. Number 6. Abandoned military bases of Greenland. During World War II, American commanders strategically set up military bases throughout Greenland, recognizing its crucial position for defense. Today, however, only one of these bases remains operational, while the others stand in a state of decay. Among the most intriguing remnants of these abandoned bases is a Varrock tractor. It is a half-track vehicle used by German forces. The unarmored versions of this vehicle were mainly used as supply transports and artillery tractors. They played a vital role in battlefield logistics. The armored variants, however, were more menacing. With anti-aircraft weapons or a 10-barrel rocket launcher, they were deadly in combat. Despite their utility, fewer than 1,000 Varrock tractors were produced before the war came to an end. After the conflict, the Tatra company in Czechoslovakia made a better model. However, these early versions are still rare. Today, the Varrock tractor, like many abandoned remnants, haunts us. Subscriber pick. Bizarre Nazi vehicles, battleships, and artifacts lost in time often make a guest appearance from time to time in forgotten war zones. These reminders of the darkest chapter of humanity are found in bad shape, often decomposing and ravaged by surrounding nature. But surprisingly, this Nazi plane unearthed in the depths of the Amazonian jungle seems to be in pretty good shape. It's hard to imagine these planes dominating the skies back during their glory days. Have you ever wondered what the world would look like if the other side had won? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Number 5. Nazi rare fake banknotes. Imagine holding a piece of history. It was crafted to destroy, not preserve. A group of fake British banknotes from Nazi Germany's infamous Operation Bernhard has sold for over $1,000 at a Shropshire auction. These notes, produced by prisoners in concentration camps during World War II, were part of a sinister plan to crash the British economy by flooding it with fake currency. Here's the twist. British intelligence caught wind of the scheme and thwarted it before it could wreak havoc. Most of the notes were dumped into Austria's Lake Toplitz. They lay hidden for decades until American divers recovered them in the 80s. Now, they're highly sought after by collectors, not just for their craftsmanship, but for the dark history they embody. These artifacts aren't just relics. They are chilling reminders of Hitler's calculated plans. Number 4. Musashi, Japan's sea giant. In the late 1930s, Japan's Imperial Navy created Musashi. It was a Yamato-class battleship named after Musashi Province. This massive ship displaced 72,000 tons and boasted unmatched firepower. It carried 9 400mm main guns capable of devastating destruction. Its arsenal had triple-gun turrets from Mogami-class cruisers and 6 float planes. Commissioned on 5 August 1942 in Nagasaki, Musashi joined the 1st Battleship Division. It stood alongside famed ships like Yamato and Nagato. In 1944, it undertook secret missions, transporting troops and supplies to remote islands. On 24 October 1944, during the Battle of Leyte Gulf, American planes attacked non-stop. 19 torpedoes and 17 bombs sank Musashi in the Sibuyan Sea. Over half its crew survived, but the ship was lost to history. In 2015, a team led by Paul Allen found the wreck 3,000 feet underwater. It preserved the memory of a bygone era. Number 3. Time capsule from Sahara. In 1942, a Curtiss P-40 Kitty Hawk, code HSB, made an unplanned landing in Al-Wadi al-Jadid, Egypt. This was in the vast emptiness of the North African desert. Was it out of fuel, plagued by mechanical failure, or simply lost in the unforgiving sands of the Sahara? The pilot locked the landing gear, flared low, and touched down. The rough ground broke the gear, making the aircraft land on its belly. It skidded for over 100 meters, scattering the propeller hub and radiators. For decades, the aircraft remained hidden, possibly buried in shifting sands. It was rediscovered in 2012 by an oil exploration team. The Kitty Hawk's worn desert camouflage, weathered by time, suggested its forgotten tale. Who was the pilot? Did he survive the crash, only to succumb to the Sahara's relentless expanse? Or did he escape, his fate lost to history? This aircraft matches the markings of a P-40 flown by Canadian ace James "Stocky" Edwards. Aviation historians and enthusiasts are eager to uncover the truth behind the Kitty Hawk's final flight. Number 2. Wolfpack U-boat. During World War II, the German Navy's U-boats, designed for covert warfare, became a dominant force on the high seas. U-boats operated in solitary missions and in wolf packs. They scoured the oceans for vulnerable targets. They often used intelligence to track enemy vessels and predict their movements. These skilled submariners had two main weapons: deck guns and torpedoes. U-boats could attack from the surface or dive to avoid counterattacks. Upon striking from the surface, they could see the damage. They assessed the impact before diving to evade retaliation. They reported their victories, usually based on enemy ships sunk, back to headquarters. This information helped fuel the war machine. Yet, not all U-boats survived the brutal sea warfare. One such example is the U-boat, which was lost in the Atlantic. In August 2016, after 72 years, they found the U-boat wreck. The Atlantic Expedition Team investigated the wreck. They hoped to learn the vessel's last moments before it sank. Questions linger. What damage did the U-boat sustain? Were the crew trapped inside, succumbing to flooding or suffocation? Or did some manage to escape through open hatches? Number 1. Merkers Mine Gold Reserve. In 1945, one of World War II's greatest treasure finds occurred in the Merkers Mine, 200 miles southwest of Berlin. Acting on tips, General Patton's Third Army found a huge stash of loot in salt caverns. With dynamite and grit, they blew open the entrance. Inside, an underground vault overflowed with precious wartime treasures. Breathtaking sights awaited them. 8,000 gold bars shimmered in the dim light. 55 boxes of gold bullion stood like treasure chests. Hundreds of bundles of foreign currency lay stacked. Much of it was looted from banks and museums across Europe. Yet, the initial joy of discovery soon faded into a darker reality. The Nazis had used the mine not just for stolen art and valuables. They also hoarded gold, jewels, and items taken from concentration camp victims. Racing against time, American forces quickly moved the treasure out of the Soviet-designated zone. After the war, the spoils were divided among the Allies: France, Britain, and the United States. But the tale of the Merkers Mine doesn't end there. Years later, Holocaust survivors and their families seek restitution for gold stored at the Federal Reserve in New York. We hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more amazing stories.